Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Midday with Mark here on a Monday. So it's Midday with Mark on a Monday. How about those M's? By the way, I'm on using a table today that is really bouncy and really it can do all kinds of stuff. So watch this. You ready? So those of you who are watching Midday with Mark, I'm in the church lobby. So welcome to the River Franklin Park. You're now in the lobby of the church. So glad that you're with us today and joining us live or on recording wherever you're from. You're watching this on Facebook Live or Facebook After, or what do you call it? Live or after? I don't know. Live or pre-recorded. Or you're watching it on YouTube because we'll post it to YouTube. This day it'll take a little bit of time to get up on YouTube because I'm not at home and I don't have my laptop with me. But this is the lobby of the River Franklin Park. So welcome. Look, I can spin you around. This table spins. A little shot down the hallway. You can see the front doors. Spin you around. Watch this. Woo! We can look down our inside our sanctuary in there. It's just empty. So welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you're part of watching Midday with Mark. If you haven't joined any of the other Midday with Marks, please check them out. This is Midday with Mark number 9. So we usually have a Christmas tree moment. So I feel bad we can't have a Christmas tree moment. But is there any coffee lovers in the house? Any coffee lovers? Anybody love coffee? So like I can spin you around to our coffee bar over there, and you can have a coffee moment. I don't know. Maybe that'll have to do today. We don't have any no Christmas tree moment. No Christmas tree moment today. We also do a pop of the day. Some of you know I collect pops. So we're doing a pop of the day. So today's pop is a vintage Batman pop. Check that out. Yeah, he's even got purple gloves. I think it's from the TV show Batman. Maybe not completely. It says Batman First Appearance. So this is Batman's first appearance pop, commemorative pop. So there you go. There's the pop of the day, Batman. So maybe while you're doing this, what's your favorite superhero? Anybody have a favorite superhero out there? Mine is not Batman. Mine is Spider-Man. Anybody who knows me knows that. But Spider-Man is my favorite pop. So, and not my favorite pop, my favorite superhero. So glad you've joined us. Midday with Mark. Here we go. We are in number 9 of Midday with Mark, where I'm just kind of sharing something that hopefully is helpful for you. But let me give you a couple announcements really quick. If you go to the River Church, if you don't go to the River Church, you can check out here for a moment. But if you go to the River Church, a couple things. First off is at church this week online, we will be taking communion. And so what we're going to ask you to do is gather the communion elements at your house, some bread, some juice, grape juice if you have it. If not, you can use water. You can use wine. You could use wine. You could use whatever, some type of drink. I would not recommend beer. I would recommend like a water or juice, even orange juice, whatever, you could use that. So we will be taking communion online together. So prepare yourself for Palm Sunday communion. Also, we are moving ahead with our drive-in service. As of now, we're still waiting on the governor, but on Easter Sunday, we will be meeting in our parking lot in our cars. We're not getting out of our cars. So it's going to be a great Easter Sunday, making the most of it. So that is Easter Sunday, 11 o'clock in our parking lot if we're not on lockdown. So we're looking forward to that, excited about that. Also, this week, as we've kind of getting reconfigured here at the church, this week we're going to be letting you know about our initiatives to help others, to help the least of these. That's the call of the church always. And I think people who are the least of these right now are always our homeless people. So we're going to be tag teaming with Light of Life Ministries in Pittsburgh that we've done a lot of work with. But I think our healthcare professionals are also some of the least of these right now. They're putting themselves in harm's way for us and for others. So we're going to serve them. I'll let you know about that, how we're going to do that. We're going to do that through our email and our Facebook. So if you are on our Facebook, of River Franklin Park, or our email. You can go to the Facebook page and you can click on there and you can get our emails. So you'll see, scroll down, there's one place that says, hey, if you're not getting our emails, make sure you're getting our emails. We'll let you know how you can help. We're going to be probably providing some meals for Swickley Hospital here in Swickley for healthcare professionals. So you will find out about how to do that. And there will be some bins here at the church. I'll let you know when those go up for you to donate into for homeless. We'll let you know what they need and what some of their needs are at the Light of Life Ministries. All right, so there's all that. So let's get into our teaching for the day. We're going to look at Mark chapter 5. So if you do have a Bible with you, Mark chapter 5. Oh, also remember, if you're from the River Franklin Park, we have an all church gathering on Zoom on Wednesday night. Go to our Facebook page. You'll find information about how you can log in and be part of that all church gathering on Wednesday nights. It's a fun time. So Mark chapter 5, here we go. We're kind of hitting some greatest hits, some of my favorite greatest hits of Jesus and his ministry. And Mark chapter 5, this is what happens. So let me give you the setup. The setup is that there is a man who comes to Jesus, and Jesus has just arrived on his side of the lake. He is coming across the Sea of Galilee, and he comes across there, and a very important man named Jairus comes to him, and he says, my daughter is sick and she's dying. Would you come and heal her? And he says, yes, I will come. So get this picture. Here's Jairus, very important man, and his daughter is dying. They're actually not the story we're going to look at, but that is the background for this story. This is what it says in Mark chapter 5, verse 24. It says this: a large crowd followed and pressed around him, and a woman who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. Okay, so you have to get this picture. There's a whole bunch of people crowding around Jesus, a whole lot of people touching him, a whole lot of people grabbing onto him. And the scripture tells us there's a woman there who was subject to bleeding. So delicately, she had a nonstop menstrual cycle. We don't know how she got this. It's either just a medical condition that she has, or it is, or some people conjecture that she got it through her lifestyle, which she might have been a prostitute or, so you can get the picture. But she has woman problems. We think, okay, that's maybe an inconvenience. We look at it, and obviously not something you'd want to go through. But back then it was even worse because it made you unclean under Jewish law, which meant you couldn't touch people. You couldn't go into the synagogue to worship. I mean, it ostracized you from society. It made you an outcast. It made you, if this woman had a husband at one point and then she had this condition, he would have probably left. If she got this condition through her, let's say, less than reputable lifestyle, then all of these things would make her unclean. She would be ostracized, a reject from the society, not able to go anywhere to find worship. She couldn't even go into worship. So she felt ostracized from God, others, her own family, could be her own children. If she has children, we don't know. So anyway, she is on her own. So here's Jesus headed to a very important man's house, Jairus. His daughter's dying. A lot of people want to touch him, a lot of people around him. And this story says that she had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had, yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. So she's also trying to fix the problem that she has, just like you would do. If you were in this situation that this woman is, you would do anything to fix this situation. She's trying anything to change her lot in life. And she's gone to doctors, probably many of them ripped her off, or they're kind of like witch doctors where they don't really know what they're going to do. They just say, do this, do that. They have no clue. She goes there to try to find healing. She finds no healing. She finds no release. She finds no change. She's desperate. That's what we talked about in our sermon on Sunday. If you want to go watch that on YouTube. She was desperate. And when you're desperate, you'll do whatever to get out of that desperation. And so she tried all she could, But instead, the scripture says of getting better, she grew worse. So get the picture. Here's a desperate woman with a physical problem that has ostracized her emotionally, physically, relationally, in every way you can be ostracized, she has been. And what she does here is she heard about Jesus. Verse 27. She heard about Jesus. She came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. So, by the way, don't get weird about this, because this isn't a magical thing. It isn't like Jesus is walking around and his cloak is somehow magical. In fact, in the Greek, what she really grabs a hold of is the tassels that hang down off of his shawl. There's a name for him. I can't remember it right now, but she grabs onto one of those. That he would wear a prayer shawl that would go down like this. You've probably seen them, Jewish prayer shawls that go down, and she grabbed a hold of one of the tassels. This is what the corner tassel. And so there's nothing magical about his clothes. There's lots of people touching him. Get that point? There's lots of people touching him. It's not that she's touching his clothes. It's that she's reaching out in faith. That she's reaching out in faith for him. She believes that if I go to him, that he can solve my problem. And so she reaches out in faith. A lot of people touching him. There's a lot of people around Jesus. That's an important point, because in life, there's a lot of people around Jesus, but that doesn't mean they're really reaching out to him in faith. And so maybe that's you, like in your life, or you might be even around Jesus, but are you reaching out to him in faith? And so she grabs a hold of his tassel. It says immediately her bleeding stopped and she felt in her body she was freed from her suffering. So remember, Jesus is going to Jairus' house. He's going to an important guy's house. She grabs a hold of him. By the way, if you ever Google this, Google the chapel at Magdala has a great portrait of this that an Italian artist drew. It's beautiful. Just Google like painting of Magdala chapel of the woman with the bleeding. Google something like that. You'll come up with this beautiful, beautiful painting that I got to see with my own eyes. It's in Jerusalem, or it's in Magdala. It's outside on the Sea of Galilee, that portrays this. She reaches out, she's healed, and so Jesus is on his way to Jairus' house. He doesn't have time to stop, you would think, but then he does something just so Jesus, just so amazing. It says at once Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and he asked, "Who touched my clothes?" Now, this is a beautiful moment. He's going to say, "Who touched my clothes?" And his disciples give the answer that you would think they would give. It says, "You see the people crowding around you and against you," his disciples said, "and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" And so they're like, Jesus, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of people touching you. I love when the disciples try to tell Jesus what he should think. And Jesus is kind of like, no, I don't really need you to tell me what I think. Because it says, but he still kept looking around to see who had done it. Now, there is a method to this madness for sure. He could have just done a drive-by healing and been like, okay, you got what you need, lady. I'm time to move on. I've got to go to Jairus' house. But that's not what Jesus is interested in. He's interested in more than just the fact that this woman no longer has this bleeding issue, because he cares about each of us personally. And he knows that his healing with her isn't done. So watch this. It gets really good. But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing that what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet with fear and told him the whole truth, trembling with fear, and told him the whole truth. Now, I want you to picture this as a movie scene. I want you to picture this moment where the crowd parts. Because remember, she can't be touched by anybody. Anybody touches her is unclean. So imagine this crowd parting, and it's just kind of like a crowd all around. There's Jesus. There's this woman kneeling down, trembling, crying, sobbing, but she knows she's been healed, and she's waiting for what this holy man, this rabbi, this person would say to her. And it's so amazing because the first word out of Jesus's mouth to her, can you imagine everything that's happened to her life? All the desperation, all the hurt, all the pain, all these things that have happened to her that brought her to this moment. What does she need to hear? This ostracized, unclean woman who's been kicked out of everything. What does she need to hear? And more importantly, what do the people that are all crowded around? This is her village. Everybody knows who she is. Everybody knows her condition. Everybody knows what she has been if she got this way from a bad lifestyle. She's falling at his feet. She's telling him, it says she told him the whole truth. And so she's weeping, she's spouting off all the pain in her life, all the things that have happened. And the first word, this is what I love about Jesus. This is what made me personally fall in love with Jesus, are moments like this. The first word out of his mouth that he says to her is daughter. Daughter. I hope you hear that today, that Jesus says to her, daughter. And that's not just for her, but that's for everybody listening. That everybody listening would know that she's mine, that she's my daughter. And no matter what she's done, and no matter how hard and how much pain it has been in her life, she's mine. And you all around here need to know that. And I want you to hear that today too. Whatever pain, whatever hurt, whatever you've done in life, if you come to him, the word that you will hear from him is, my son, my daughter, you're mine. That's the first thing you're going to hear from him. He doesn't reject you. And he saves this woman. He heals this woman in every way possible, physically, emotionally, spiritually, relationally. He restores her back to her community. Imagine the most famous person in town, the most revered person in town, the most holy person in town just called her daughter. And so he is restoring her in every way you can be restored. He's saving her in every way that you can be saved. And he does the same for us. He restores us emotionally, physically, spiritually, relationally. That's what God is in the business of doing. I hope today that you understand that. He says, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace, shalom. Go in wholeness and completeness. That's what peace is. That's what the word there, shalom, is. Go in wholeness and completeness. Go and be freed from your suffering. For everybody to see, he restores her. He loves her, and he loves her in public, not just privately. He could have just done a drive-by healing and been like, oh, that happened in private. Nobody needed to know. But he does it in public for her so that she can be, from this day forward, who she was meant to be in her community, who she was meant to be in her synagogue, who she was meant to be in her family, who she was meant to be as a person that had a lot to give to the world and to love others. Jesus restores us to all of that. And he does the same thing for you. He does the same thing for me. He did the same thing for me 30 years ago when he came to me. I was just a church kid, but I was a sinner, lost in need of grace. And he healed me, and he gave me a purpose for my life, and he gave me the reason to live, and he healed me emotionally, physically, relationally, spiritually. He saved me in all those ways. That's what Jesus does. That's what salvation looks like. It's not just that my sins are forgiven, but he restores everything in my life. That's my word to you today. I hope you understand that. I hope you get it. deeply down here and in here, in your soul, in your gut. I hope you feel that, know it. I hope it's a powerful word for you today. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I see some people are on here. Welcome. I know a lot of people watch it afterwards, but glad you're here today. I hope this has been a blessing to you. We'll be back tomorrow. Midday with Mark. We'll go Monday through Friday. A little bit of change. Thought I was going to do it Saturdays too, but those have gotten really busy. So Monday through Friday. And don't forget to check us out online for church, 9:30 and 11 on Sundays here at the River Franklin Park on YouTube or on our Facebook page. Glad to see you all again. Hope to see you on Wednesday night. If you go to the River Franklin Park, see you Wednesday night online at our all-church gathering. Until then, maybe I'll see you tomorrow back here right around noon for Midday with Mark. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.